You're listening to the home of cool, irreverent, and entertaining talk, right here on LA Talk Radio. You're listening to The Art of Love with your host, Lucia, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to The Art of Love. My name is Lucia. I'm your host and a dating and relationship expert. And I'm here to entertain, educate, and enlighten you about love, dating, and relationships. Take your live calls, answer your emails, and speak to authors of books which I find interesting. So today we're going to be helping the men with their dating life. I have a return guest, Mr. Locario, or is it Locario? I've forgotten already. We're going to be talking about his book. Actually, it's an MP3, an audiobook, The Magnificent 10 Crucial Dating Tips for Men. His website is mrlocario.com. But he's not with me right now. He's running around New York trying to find a quiet place to have the conversation. So, he said he'd call back in about 15 minutes. Hopefully he'll be someplace quiet where we can discuss this very important topic. He's got some great stuff to say. And in the meantime, I'm actually going to do a segment which I have not done for a long time and which I love, and that is
Celebrity Corner.
That's right, Celebrity Corner. So those of you interested in this type of thing, I'm sure you've heard about Mikhail Salahi running off with the guitarist from Journey. And of course, when the story first came out, everyone thought it was a joke since they seem to be into publicity stunts. And of course, if you don't recognize the name, this is the couple who allegedly got into the White House. They crashed the party in the White House a few years ago. So they became infamous. I don't know about famous, but they definitely became infamous after that. And so she ran off. And there's so many jokes with all the Journey songs here. In fact, I heard one on the way over here. Not a joke, a song. They played Loving, Touching, Squeezing Another. Yeah, that's what she's now doing with him. And her soon-to-be ex-husband, he, of course, went on national TV crying, thinking that something had happened to her, that she'd been kidnapped. And, she humiliated him by not letting him know that, hey, by the way, I've run away from home with the guy from Journey. And they actually caught up with the guitarist's current wife, because he's married. He's only been married a couple of months, actually, to a Playboy Playmate from, I believe, 1986, Ava Fabian. And TMZ caught up to her. And they said to her, so would you take him back with open arms? And, she didn't get the joke. She's like, no. And so they tried again. And they go, well, do you think he would take you back with open arms? And she still didn't get it. And she said, well, I didn't do anything wrong. But I did hear that Neil, the guitarist, said that if he had known how Mikhail, is that her name, Mikhail, felt about him, that he wouldn't have married his current wife. Like, ouch. Wow. Talk about, hurting. So why didn't he know how she felt about him? They've been having an affair for years. It's like, come on, you don't know how she feels? Or maybe he didn't think she would leave her husband, so he figured, well, I can't get her permanently. I have to share her, so I guess I might as well get married, which, obviously, you know what? She should have just made her feelings known if she didn't. Or he should have asked. He should have said, hey, listen, I'm going to get married. Is there any chance you're going to leave your husband? And then they could have prevented further heartache to this poor Playboy Playmate. So I don't know what's going to happen, but that was an interesting item in the news. I never really bought that whole Salahi marriage when they first popped into the limelight because, she's hot. She may be a bad woman, but she is hot. You can't deny that. And I was like, wait a minute. If she's with him, he's got to have money. Sorry. most hot women are not going to be interested in someone who's overweight. That's just the truth. So let's not pretend it's not true 99% of the time. There's always the exception for whatever reason, but someone who's a 9 or a 10, if they're going with someone who's much older usually or very overweight or even just overweight, period, because they can get some guy with a six-pack abs, then why wouldn't they? Because the guy has money. So I never really believed that marriage, and in fact this affair has been going on for years. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so there is Celebrity Corner for this week.
Celebrity Corner.
All right, and while I'm waiting for Mr. Lucario to call in, I have some notes about stuff that I've learned this week, or just interesting love, dating, and relationship stuff. Actually, last night Saturday night, I put a post on my Facebook, which is facebook.com/CougarExpert, and I didn't really think, you never know really which post people will respond to, and I didn't think there would be a lot of response. It was a Saturday night. But I had just gotten this email, so I said, let me post this before I forget. And basically the email was from a guy, and he said, hey, your pictures are hot, and, let me just be forward here and say, I'd like to go out with you, grab a drink tonight, and then if all is well, we'll have great sex. Of course, I deleted it immediately, and so I posted that on my Facebook, and I said, do guys really expect a response from this type of email? And as of this morning, there were 95 comments. Now, I must say most of them were from one person because she's very passionate about this topic. It started going off on a whole different tangent. I was like, wow, who knew all these people were sitting home on a Saturday night? So it was just very interesting, the responses that came in. So if you want to see them, all 95 of them, and maybe add your own. Again, my website on Facebook is facebook.com/CougarExpert, and if you're not a fan yet, I've just added a landing page, which I'm very proud of. I did it all by myself. It's nothing fancy. I'm not, an HTML person, but I did figure out how to do it. I was up to like 1:30 in the morning earlier this week putting together this landing page because those tech guys on YouTube that put the instructions. Okay, can I give you a piece of advice? It's not dating advice, it's talking advice. Can you speed it up with the talking and get to the point and stop beating around the bush? I know you have all that information in your head. We just want to know how to put this thing together. We don't need, because this is, when they're describing what to do, they go, well, all right, so you're going to, click on this, and then this drop-down menu will appear, and you're just going to hit edit page, and it's like, can you get to the point? I don't have time to sit here because what he took 10 minutes to describe, I could have described it in 1 minute, I swear, and then added the details later. And I was like, it's 1 a.m. Speed it up, will you? So if any tech guys are listening, can you please do all of us a favor? Thank you. All right, what else? So a friend of mine who was dating someone, and they became very close very quickly, which I'm always against, but, what are you going to do? And they were boyfriend-girlfriend within 2 weeks, and they were talking 30 times a day, saw each other every night. And then, of course, after about 4 or 5 months, things started to go downhill. Not of course, because that type of relationship, you're either going to get married or you're going to break up and never speak to each other again. And that's exactly what I told him, and basically that's where it's at. She ended it, and she was not speaking to him. And then he found out that she had called his ex-roommate who had seen some of the stuff that had gone on, and that she was thinking of calling a lawyer. And I said, for what? What's she gonna do? I mean, unless she has a restraining order against you, why would she need to call a lawyer? So it's just really unfortunate that, something can go so well in the beginning. Well, apparently it seems so well, but it's all an illusion, right? Because you're all just projecting onto each other what you think the other person is, or you're in love with love because you don't know who the other person is. And that's why I say don't rush into things. And he said it was like very magnetic and it pulled him, and he couldn't have stopped it if he had tried. I understand that. For those of us that believe in karma, it may have been something karmic, but at the same time, with experience, you just learn to not get pulled as much as when you were younger. But a lot of times it's a very attractive thing, and so you go with it. But then after you learn the consequences, I'm sure now he's learning he's never going to do this again. He's never going to rush in again. I don't know what she's planning to do, but it's too bad that it had to go from something that seemed to be so wonderful to something that now they're going to get the law involved. I don't know why. I guess we'll find out. Stay tuned for next week's episode of Drama City. And then another friend of mine, it's funny because when my friends tell me stuff, they always say, don't talk about this in the air. And, I'll talk about it, but of course I'm not going to give names and I'm not going to give really specific details. So they're always worried that I'm going to talk about it. Or sometimes I think they're secretly hoping that I will talk about it. So he's dating actually an older woman. He's dating a cougar. He's in his, I don't know how old he is, mid-30s maybe, and she's about 50. And he had issues with her about 3 months ago that the ex was hanging around the background. There's always an ex hanging around the background. And he found emails to her. To her from him and from him to her. I think also pictures exchanged. So he asked about it, and there was a little drama around that. And in fact, he friended this guy on Facebook, and the guy immediately wrote to him and told him off. So obviously, something's up if your boyfriend or girlfriend's ex is telling you off. Oh, our guest is calling. Is this Mr. Locario?
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, or is it Locario? I forgot already.
It's Locario.
Oh, good. So I'm glad you found a quiet spot.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty quiet in here.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's better than all the horn honking I was hearing earlier behind you. So.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So I already mentioned the book. Of course, it's an audio book, right? It's not an actual ebook.
Yeah, well, actually, I have an ebook version and an audiobook version of The Magnificent 10 Crucial Data Tips for Men. So I have both.
Oh, okay, cool.
Actually.
Wonderful. All right, so let's get into this. We're going to go over some of these, not all of them, of course, because you have to buy the book to find out what they all are. So the first one is actually my topic because I don't know if you know that I had written an article about the whole nice guy thing, and
yeah.
And, guys around the world were pissed at me. There was a huge reaction. So you say that women don't like nice guys, and the reason actually has nothing to do with liking bad boys. So what do you mean?
Yeah, so basically, like, a lot of people think that you have to, like, be a bad boy and you have to put on an act. And the thing is that the actual act is being the nice guy, because no guy or anyone is nice all the time. So it's like a lot of guys that get with a woman and they try to, they try to impress her. They try to do everything to make her feel good, and it's cool to be, courteous to people, but at the same time they're pushing away their own thoughts and desires just to impress the girl, and then they come off as being nice, and the girls know that's insincere. So when a guy is being himself, it's going to seem like he's more of a bad boy, seem like he has his own thing going, and that's what, usually attracts the woman. It's not necessarily like you have to be a jerk, you know what I mean? But like your inner jerk or whatever will come out once you're being yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you're going to be in a certain mood, sometimes you're going to be a certain way. So if you're just honest with what you are and how you're feeling, then, it'll happen. And I think more women are attracted to that because it's more authentic. It's more you, Yeah,
that's true, because the times that I haven't been into someone, I was just being myself. And so if I felt like talking to them, I did. If I didn't want to see them, if I didn't feel like seeing them, I didn't. And they were actually attracted to that.
Yeah, exactly.
But you say you're not a nice guy, so don't be one. So you're saying guys aren't nice?
Yeah, guys in general are not. We're not nice guys. Like all of us. So and the thing is that it hurts a guy when he's actually saying, because a lot of times guys say, okay, I'm a nice guy because it sounds good to say, and also it sounds good to feel like, oh well, she doesn't like me because I'm a nice guy. So it's kind of like you're hiding behind this nice guy persona as an excuse as to why this woman is not attracted to you. But the thing is that she's not attracted to you because you're not being yourself. You're trying too hard to be nice. You understand? It's like because you have certain nice things about you, but it's like make those nice things come out naturally instead of trying to, show, like put up a front and be like Mr. Perfect, all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once you just be authentic and be yourself, then it's going to even out. There has to be like a balance.
Yeah, right. Because no one is perfect and no one is nice all the time, and so it's nice when you see that other side. You might see the jerk come out once in a while, and then okay, at least he's being real.
Exactly. And I think women trust men more who are like that, because it's like, because if you're just being like super nice guy, she's going to be wondering like, what is this guy really hiding? Who is he really? Like, what's he really about? You know what I mean? And I think that, like, just even in the long run, a woman wants to know what type of guy she's dealing with. You know what I mean? And this is why, like, a so-called bad boy or jerk will get more attention, because it's like the woman actually believes that guy more than she does the nice guy, because she knows the nice guy is just trying to be nice, or, trying to put up a front because, he wants to impress her. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Okay, let's move on to another one. You said learn when to cut a girl off and stop wasting time on her. So how does the guy do that?
Yeah, well, it's weird. I have to do that like all the time.
Oh, really? Oh, that's terrible. I thought you had a girlfriend. What are you talking about?
No, I mean, I have a girlfriend, but, sometimes, like, if I'm in the mood, I might flirt with another girl, and, and that's a whole other story, but even still, but what that really is about is, I'm saying that a guy, like, when a guy's dating, he's out there dating and he's talking to different women, there's going to be some women who are going to, be attracted to you, who are going to call you when you call them, and want to see you and go out on a date and actually be progressing and doing something. And then there's going to be girls who are going to waste your time as far as like you met them, you exchanged numbers, but they weren't never really into you. So they were just, they just wanted your attention. Some of these girls actually have like boyfriends on the side, so they weren't really going to do anything with you anyway. So it's like those type of girls are really just wasting your energy. So it's like, you keep calling a girl, she won't return your calls. So what I tell men to do is that they have to, like, if they're calling a girl like once or twice, and on the third time they have to let them know, like, hey, listen, I contacted you twice. This is the third time, so I don't hear from you after this. This is it. We're done. You know what I mean? So it's like it doesn't make sense to keep wasting time on a woman that's not going to respect your time and respect you as a man and as a person to return your calls and see you if y'all actually planned on making something happen. You know what I mean? Because then it's wasting your time, and you're taking up time from you actually being able to see other women and actually giving your energy and time to other women who would appreciate your time. So that's why you got to kind of really cut some girls off if they're not responding to you in a way that you want in the way that you feel that you deserve to be responded by, so it's like that's the type of stuff that's very, very essential for a man to do when he's dating.
In your experience, what percentage of women end up being flaky?
Oh, wow. It's weird. It's like, I would have to say, it has to say about at least 65%, and I think I'm being generous, but
what?
I'd have to say at least 65% of women that that will be flaky, and a lot of times for a lot of different reasons that and a lot of reasons have nothing necessarily to do with the guy.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's like so some guys, like, they take it personally, but at the same time, like I was saying, if a woman's being flaky, you got to kind of cut that off as soon as possible, or let her know that you're not the type of guy that's going to deal with flakiness, because it's like you don't want to start your interactions or a relationship on the wrong foot. You don't want it to be you don't want it to condone that type of behavior. And a lot of times guys condone flakiness by, like, a girl will be flaky, and then the next time he speaks to her, he doesn't address it. There's nothing about it. It's like it's okay. You know what I mean? So
right.
Then that's not a good thing to do.
And do you find that younger girls are flakier than older women?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think a lot more younger women are flakier than the older ones, because I feel like, especially when a woman's younger, she's getting the most attention.
Mm-hmm.
So she has guys here and there. So to most women, most guys, especially when they're younger, most guys are kind of expendable. You know what I mean? So it's like they're not. It's like the mind frame. Like, well, I go out, I meet this guy here, I meet that guy there. So it's it's not really that, they're not focused on anybody, because it's like there's so much attention. But, as women get older and she knows what she wants, and then she starts to narrow down what she's really looking for, and then if she finds that type of guy, she's less likely to be flaky, because, she knows that, she's getting older, she wants to actually do certain things, so she's not going to really flake out too much on those guys. And on top of that, I think once women get older, they kind of know what they want a little better than younger girls, so it's, all that goes into play,
Yeah, actually, I did that. When I was 20, I was dating like 5 guys.
Yeah.
But just dating, no sex. And
really, why didn't you date me? What happened? You didn't give me a call. I'm offended now.
You may not have been born yet, or you may have been in diapers. But yeah. And so I was dating these 5 guys, and then I met this guy from Romania, and he had an accent, and he was older, and and he had a good job. And he just had this way about him. He was cool. He was like, he wasn't a jerk, but he wasn't nice. And, I remember he said to me, because, I refused to have sex with him. He's like, oh, I would give up 6 months of my life just to make love to you.
Wow.
So he was saying stuff like that. So I totally dropped all 5 guys, and I started seeing him. And then,
wow.
After like a month, it didn't work out. And I ended up, with nothing. And I'm like, you know what? That's the last time I dropped 5 guys to stop just see one guy.
Oh my goodness!
But he did.
Wow. See, so you were a player. That's awesome. I love it.
No, I wasn't a player, but I didn't have a boyfriend. So it's like, everyone was asking me out. What am I supposed to do? I wanted to explore.
Yeah, that's good. That's what you're supposed to do. That's excellent.
Yeah, that's what your 20s are for. And so I like the way you said that. Okay, so when you give the girl the message, you say, hey, if I don't hear from you, blah, blah, blah. And then when she eventually calls you, you said that, hey, if you want to see me, you have to make it up to me.
Yeah. So it's like if I would tell girls that they have to take me out and they have to pay for everything. Or I remember at one time I told this girl, like, she has to make it up by, like, doing my laundry. And she actually did my laundry. I was like, when that, it's like, and it's not necessarily anything bad, but it's just letting her know that, like, I don't appreciate, flakiness. And then, that there's consequences to the flakiness, and I'm not that guy that you can be flaky with. So if you really like me, and, I like you, and if you really like me, then we have, what I'm saying, we have to be on that same page and show each other that type of respect. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's you can't just let that slide, because if you don't say anything about it, then she's gonna, she might be flaky again and not think nothing of it. But if you actually, say, okay, well, this is what's gonna happen if you do this, or look, if you're flaky again, I'm not gonna deal with you. I'm just gonna move on. Then if she really likes you, she's going to be like, I can't be flaky with this guy, because I like this guy and I want to keep him, and he's into me, so I have to not do that, So it has to be like that, that type of tough love.
No, I don't think it's tough. I think it's great. I think more people need to do that, men and women, because otherwise, if you just let the person come back and you're like, okay, then you're like a doormat. It's like, okay, do whatever you want, and then if you call back a few months later, I'll let you come back. You don't want to set that tone.
Exactly.
Yeah, so always ask the person, hey, how are you going to make this up to me? I love that. Okay, so moving on. Okay. You said, don't put the pussy on the pedestal. Meow.
Oh, yeah, that's very important. That is so important. Because that basically is the man has to, as a man, you have to have a certain mind frame when you're dealing with women and you're dating. And a lot of guys, they put the pussy on the pedestal, meaning they look at, like, women as more special, than them or anything else. And women are special in the sense that, you guys are awesome, we love you and all that other good stuff, but at the same time, you know, if we're all on the equal playing field as far as like, you know, you are not any more important than I am, and vice versa. So like even before what I was saying, you know, in relationships, show each other that mutual respect. But the thing is, like, a lot of guys, when they do that, when they put the pussy on the pedestal, they turn into nice guys. They start giving women special treatment, and then they also will let women get away with things just because, you know, they want sex from them. And once you're doing that, you're putting yourself in a lower position than a woman, and women don't respect that anyway. A woman doesn't want, you know, a guy to like worship her. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if some women will say that, and a lot of these R&B songs, you know, they're like, oh, girl, I love your feet, and you are everything, and I'm going to do everything in my power. Like, you know, it sounds good on paper, but when it's in a real relationship, you know, a woman wants a partner, a woman wants a man. She doesn't want, like, a guy that's going to, you know, put it up on a pedestal. You know what I'm saying? And there's certain things that you can do to show a woman that you really appreciate her and appreciate that she's a woman and all that, you know, in certain aspects in a relationship. Like, you know, there's certain times where you know, actually go out and treat her to something special or a nice, you know, night out or whatever, but you shouldn't be doing that, like, as soon as you get into the relationship, and, you know what I mean, you don't really even know this woman yet, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta give it time, and then those, you know, special things or whatever can happen later on, you know? And
also remember, when you put someone on a pedestal, they're looking down at you.
Exactly, and the woman doesn't want a man she's going to look down on. You know what I mean? So that's not a good thing.
Yeah, you know, but it's you know, so it's called being pussy whipped. So when that happens, why do you think that is? Is it because the sex is so great?
I think it's a combination of the sex being good and the man not being that experienced. You know, because I think most men, you know, have been pussy whipped before. You know what I mean? Like when they were coming up and when they were younger, it's just the whole notion of, you know, you meeting this girl and you're so infatuated with the fact that you're just with a woman, you know what I mean? And a woman wants to have sex with you, so you're just so caught up in that moment that nothing else matters but that, you know what I mean? And then it's like you since you're not that experienced, or you haven't had that many dates, you haven't really been intimate with women in that capacity, it's something very rare and new to you that it overwhelms you, and you're like, just like everything is about that, and then they forget that, you know, they're a man and they have their own thing going on and they have their own feelings, and everything is all about this woman, you know what I mean? And then after a while, you know, that's gonna like ruin the relationship, because like, again, a woman's not gonna want a guy that's just, you know, all up on her hand and foot type thing. So you know.
Yeah, I mean, you said that women don't want the guy to put them up on a pedestal. We want to be on a little pedestal, I have to admit. You know, I mean, not a big one, but we just want to make sure that, you know, that we're the priority and you'll do anything for us.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing. Like, see, a man, it's interesting. Like, a man wants to do a lot of things for women, and I think a lot of women, like some women, don't realize, like, men we want to do things for you. We want to like give you the world in certain cases, only when it's the, you know, we figure out that you're the right girl that we want to do these things for.
Right.
You know what I mean? But a lot of times where you have guys who are new to the game or who have never really experienced dating or whatever, they listen to, you know, all these romantic songs, and they look at movies and stuff, and then that's where they get their dating ideas from. So then they start doing all that super romantic, nice guy stuff in the beginning when they first meet you, and then, you know, it ruins it for them, and then they're like confused or whatever. And then even like with the women, even though women say, hey, we want to be, you know, we want you to, like, you know, put us on a pedestal just a little bit. They want that, but not in the way that the guys are doing it from the beginning. So it's kind of like that balance. So it's like a woman's going to want a man who's going to do that, but at the same time, I feel like women still want to feel like this guy is doing it because he really likes and appreciates who I am in this relationship, rather than him just doing it because he's so excited to just be in the presence of a woman. You know what I mean? And he's like has no backbone, he has nothing going on, and you're just like making his whole day. You know what I mean? It's like I think a woman would rather a guy who's, you know, about something and who's a man and who knows, you know, what it is to be in a actual real relationship with a woman and appreciate a woman for, you know, everything that can happen in a relationship, rather than just a guy who he's not really like, he doesn't really know about women and dating and relationships, or he doesn't know himself in those situations, and that's where he gets the whole, you know, putting the girl on a pedestal in that wrong type of way. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The guy that's really about something, he wants to put her, you know, up there as far as like in that type of way where he everything that's going on, it's because he appreciates what's been happening, you know, throughout the duration of a relationship.
Yeah, so he can't do it too soon, otherwise it's insincere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I need to backtrack here because I forgot to ask you a question. When we were talking about cutting a girl off and not wasting time, you said that wasting time with certain girls can hurt your chances of having sex with other women. So how does that work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's like when you're dealing with, let's say, like, you know, like the whole, like, saying, you know, two things can't occupy the same space at the same time kind of thing. It's kind of like, if you're so consumed with, you know, trying to keep talking to this girl, you keep calling this girl, you're worrying about why she's not calling you, and then there's like other women around you that you're ignoring, or other women that you could actually potentially get with, but you're still trying to focus on this one girl who's really not paying you any attention. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, some guys, they get a girl's number and they call each other for a while, or they go out on a date once, but then it kind of like fizzles out because she stops being responsive to him. But then he feels like, you know, oh, I spent so much time, like I took the courage to actually talk to her and try to see her. Now he wants to keep it going. You know what I mean? And then he's wasting so much time on her when he could have talked to another woman who's gonna, you know, show him some, like, you know, attention and give him some time. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. It's like, go where you're wanted.
Exactly. Yeah. You know.
But everybody seems to want to knock their head against a wall and go where they're not wanted.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why.
Well, I think it's an ego thing. It's like, what? How can you not want me? You know. I'm
exactly. That too.
Yeah.
That too. You know.
Yeah. You can't take it personally. Okay, so moving on, you say don't feel guilty about being a man.
Oh yeah, definitely. See, this is the one that's really, you know, interesting and kind of, because I speak about this a lot more now, where, you know, because it's society now is very, very feminized. Like, I can't, like, I was watching TV the other day and I was like, 90% of these shows are strictly for women, you know? It's like, true. It's very catered to women. So I'm like, you know, it's like Extreme Makeover and Real Housewives, and it's like, you know, so it's like guys are, you know, in the society, and they feel bad for thinking certain things and you know, thinking sexual things, thinking about women, looking at women in a very sexual way, because, you know, a lot of guys that especially have been brought up, you know, in families where by their moms or their aunts or whatever, and they kept hearing things about, oh, it's not right to, you know, think of a woman this way, it's not right to, you know, do this and do that. So guys kind of feel apprehensive or feel guilty about doing those things, and that also hurts when they're trying to, like, you know, talk to women and get with women. And the thing is, I say in the book, you know, don't feel guilty about being a man. Don't feel guilty about having sexual thoughts, and don't feel guilty about expressing yourself sexually. And I don't mean like you go out and you know, smack a girl in the butt, you know what I'm saying, like in the street. But it's like, if you see a girl and you think she's attractive, don't be scared to, like, you know, check her out, or don't feel guilty that when she walks by you turn around and you look at her. You know what I mean? Like, There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? So it's like it's like in a society we've been, like, taught that that's not appropriate, and, you know, that's disrespectful. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're not, you know, stepping out of, you know, stepping into someone's physical space, you know what I mean, and taking it to that extent, then it's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of guys, they feel like it's, you know, like I actually hear guys who, you know, try to talk to women, and they'll say something like, oh, hey, miss, I'm sorry to bother you, or I'm sorry. It's like, it's always they're sorry about something.
Yeah, right.
You know, like,
right.
You know, like, what are you sorry about?
Yeah, exactly. That's when we know you're a pushover, when you say, oh, I'm sorry, but blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how you know he's not a player, unless he's a really good player and he uses that line.
Yeah, no. He's just pretending.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. Because I mean, that's how men are programmed. They're supposed to be easily excited, so that they can have sex and get someone pregnant, and the species can continue. So we can't fault men for that. I think the problem comes that when they like really keep staring, or when they're insistent. I mean, yeah, you can look and you can even stare a little bit, but it gets creepy. Like I'll be at the gym.
Yeah.
And I'll be trying to work out, and a guy would just like be sitting and like staring. I'm like, damn, can you like please leave me alone?
Yeah, I mean, and at that point, it's like if he's that attracted to you, you should just talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, don't just like, stare and and be like, like a stalker or a creepy dude. But you know what I'm saying? But it's always a balance with everything. You know what I mean? And it's like, so yeah, like I agree with you. You don't want to just be like sitting there, just with your eyes open, not blinking, just staring at a girl, like straight for like 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Because that's going to be kind of weird, though.
Yeah, and the thing is that those guys, first of all, they never approach, and the thing is, if they did, they've already killed their chances because of the creepy stare.
Yeah, exactly. So
it never works. So don't do it. Okay, so here's something that I previewed on my Facebook and Twitter, where you said that guys should sleep with their female friends at least once. So I got to hear the explanation to this.
Oh, of course, you have to. That's imperative.
You have to.
So see, the thing is, okay, this is my stance on male and female friendship. Like, unless a straight man and a straight woman, it's hard for them to be friends, especially from the male's standpoint. Like a woman can be friends with her straight male friend, but a man, he usually wants to have sex with his female friend, whether he admits it or not. Because usually the reason why he became friends with her in the first place is because at some point he wanted to most likely get with her, and then she put him in the friend zone. You know what I mean? So that's what usually happens. And a lot of times when guys start being in the friend zone, then they basically start to get into the habit of talking to women, in a friendly manner and not in a more like, I'm trying to get with you, seductive type of manner. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is that they continue to talk to different women in a friendly manner. So then they're not coming across as a guy that actually wants to be with them in a romantic way. It's more of a friendly way. So then they keep accumulating female friends. So the thing is, I say, what you have to do is when you have a female friend, or a female friend is only going to be necessarily really your friend because if you sleep with her, because what's going to happen is if you don't sleep with this woman, your friendship is kind of like a pseudo friendship because she knows you want to sleep with her, but you're only with her because part of you is still attracted to her. So if you actually slept with her, then all that sexual tension will be out the way, and then you can just be a real friend. Because I've had most of, like I'd say all of my female friends that I actually are real friends with, like real friends, are women who I've slept with. And the reason being is because when I'm like, dealing with a woman and I'm attracted to her, it's gonna be hard for me to be real friends with her. If I'm attracted to her and I really want to, be sexual with her, and I know she's like going out with other guys, and I want to be the guy she's doing stuff with, it's like it's kind of a weird situation. So I always tell guys to try to have sex with your female friend at least once so you get that sexual tension out the way. And also, when you're dealing with women in general, try to make sure you're coming at it as a man trying to get with a woman, and not continuing trying to be just a friend. You know what I'm saying? So, because if you keep doing that, that's gonna like make you get used to the feeling of like just approaching women in a friendly way. You know what I mean?
So the sleeping with the friend, that's almost like an initiation or a rite of passage?
Well, it's like I wouldn't say it's necessarily like an initiation. It's just more so like for the guy, because he needs to, like, for example, I had a girl in my school, and she was telling me that she was like, yeah, I have this guy, he's just my friend or whatever, right? And he was supposed to pick her up after school, and then after, like, the school day ended, and he didn't come. He stood her up, and the reason he stood her up was because some other girl, I guess he was trying to talk to, wanted to like see him, and he was like going with the other girl because he was trying to get sex from the other girl. So the thing is that he wasn't really her friend. He was just her friend by default because he wanted to have sex with her. But since she didn't have sex with him, he wasn't a real friend. So a real friend would come and pick you up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like he's not going to really do that because he's not a real friend. So a lot of women miss out. They think that these guys are their friends, but they're really not friends. Like I have a girl that's in my school who thinks she's like, oh yeah, we're just friends. And I told her, I said, when do I ever see you outside of school? Like, I never see you. We don't hang out. We're not real friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
right.
And the thing is that she's attractive, and I would love to have sex with her. You know what I mean? But she's still on the whole, I just want to be friends thing. But I told her, I was like, there's not, like, we don't do anything as a real friend. You know what I mean? And the reason why we're not doing it as a real friend because I'm not really your friend. You see what I'm saying? And it's hard for most women to hear. Well, that's what really goes on. And this is why I say, like, if I was to have sex with her and then the sexual tension is gone, I wouldn't keep thinking about every time I'm with her, like, oh, my God, when are we going to have sex? Let's have some sex. Let's have some sex. Because I told her this all the time. I'm like, let's have sex.
Wow.
And she's like, no, I don't want to ruin the friendship. I'm just like, what friendship? What are you talking about? That's how real it is,
Wow. So, yeah, I think most women these days, they know that their male friends do want to have sex with them, but they don't care.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing,
So then how do
that's the thing.
So if someone is, so then how does a guy initiate that? If he has female friends, what's he going to say? Hey, let's have sex so I can get this, because the sex will be just for him, not for her.
No, the sex will be for her too. But what I say is that before you even become in the friend zone, you like when you first meet a woman, it's always has to be, you have to be bringing sexual energy. You have to be bringing, hey, I'm trying to get with you. Unless you're not trying to get with her, because there's another instance where a guy can really be friends with you, but that's usually when he's not attracted to you. If he's not attracted to you, then it's whatever. Then he can be friends with you. But if he's attracted to you, it's and he knows he's attracted to you, he has to start off as him trying to get with you. And then the thing is that he can't let himself get into that friend zone, because it's not until you have sex. Because until you have sex, there's going to be a lot of tension and a lot. It's very subconscious, but it's always there. Just like how my friend, her quote unquote friend didn't show up to pick her up. Mm-hmm. Those things start to happen more and more, and then you say to yourself, "Damn, well, I thought we were friends," and that, you know what I'm saying? And then you think the girl's thinking like, "I thought he was really my friend." But he wasn't really your friend. And then that stuff starts to hurt later on when she realizes, well, this guy was just with me, and I thought he was my friend, but he just really wanted to, get in my booty. You know what I'm saying? So,
you know what? I had the opposite thing happen, that there was someone that I was interested in, and he was interested in me. We were definitely very interested. And but the thing is, he travels for work a lot. And he realized that I was not the kind of woman that was going to be happy being in a relationship with someone that was never around. And he was right. Even though he never asked me that, he already figured it out. And so he actually said, so he never wanted to, he tried to sleep with me because he said, I would rather be your friend than, date you for a while and then have it end and then not be friends.
Yeah, no, that can work, but you see, the reason why that works is because he knew that you didn't start off saying, oh, I just want to be your friend and I'm not into you like that. Like, he knew you were into him.
Yeah. So
he knew that it could have happened. So he's like, you know what, you're cool, so we can be friends. But if it's like, if a man is just like, if he's trying to get with you and then you just like, hey, we're just going to be friends off the bat, he's like going to be like, oh, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make him feel good. You know what I mean? Because it's an ego thing too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to, meet a woman that we're attracted to and then feel like she never wanted to do anything with us or, sexual. So it's like, that's that type of thing. And then, guys, they still hang around because the guys who have female friends, they hang around because one day they're hoping that their female friend's going to have sex with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so let's do one last one, and that is, you say go on first dates that cost little to no money, which I totally disagree with, but go ahead.
Oh my goodness! No, this is an excellent, essential point. I want all the guys to hear this one. Okay, so the thing is, right? You have to go on dates that cost little to no money, because when you're first dating someone, you don't know them. You don't know if you like them, you're going to like them. You don't know if they're going to like you. So, and especially if you're a dude that's going on multiple dates, that's going to be a lot of money you're wasting if you're dating this one, and this one. So it's like, for example, I remember I went on a date with this girl, and we went out to eat something. And I usually don't like to go out to eat because it costs a lot of money, but I was hungry, so I was like, okay, we're going to go out to eat. So we went out to eat, and I paid for it, and then I never saw her again, like, after that. So I was like, you know, she didn't call, nothing, you know? So I'm like, okay, so I just spent all that money, but for what? You know what I mean? So it's like, the thing is that when you're dating, you know, and it comes to, like, money and finances and all of that, you spend money on a woman who becomes your girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, y'all can go Dutch and y'all can spend little money when y'all getting to know each other. And then once you see that she's down for you and you're down for her, then, you know, you can spend as much money as you want and y'all can go take turns and everything like that. But the thing is that when you're first getting to know someone, you don't know this person's intentions. Because I actually knew a woman who would go out on dates, dinner dates with guys just to get dinner. Right. Like she never paid for dinner for about almost a year, and she would just go out on dates every day of the week. She was a you know, good-looking woman. A lot of guys approach her, and she would be like, "Yeah, we should go out to dinner," and then the guys would take her out to dinner, and that would be it. And she wouldn't call him again. So it's like, you know, so you don't want to be those guys that get caught out there.
No, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Actually, I misspoke. I actually agree with the go on first dates that cost little to no money. But I guess what I disagree with is when you said to go Dutch on the first date, because when you do that, then you're showing the woman that you really don't care, or maybe that you're cheap. And so that's a big turnoff for women when a guy goes Dutch on the first date.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that if you're not gonna go Dutch, you need to spend, like, I have this $10 date rule. Like no dates, no more than $10. Yes, we go out to coffee or we get a hot dog or something. We walk in the park, because the first date is to get to know someone. So it's not that I don't care about you. It's that I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I don't know what type of person you are. You know what I mean? It's like you can be a psycho or I can be a psycho. You know what I mean? So it's like we're kind of on the same level. So it's like I'm spending time with you and you're spending time with me. Now we're even. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have, like, it's like a man does not owe a woman the money. And as a man, you don't owe a woman the money. If you owe her your time, as far as, like, if you decided to, you know, make a plan to see her and she made a plan to see you, you guys promised each other time, not money. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really need to be that way. So and the purpose of the first dates are just to get to know the person. And the thing is that a lot of times you have guys out there who are really horrible guys who have a lot of money. They be like, girl, I'll take you out to here and there, and you're thinking, oh, this guy is so awesome, he's so sweet, and he's a serial killer, and you won't know because you're so blinded by the fact that he's paying for your date. You know what I mean? Instead of getting to know who he really is. You know what I mean? Right. So it's not really about the money. It's about, you know, the person. As long as the guy spends at least $10 or something, just to show that, you know, just to show that he's willing to buy a hot dog or an ice cream. How's that? Just the willingness. Yeah, I think that could work. Okay, so if I come to New York, you'll buy me a hot dog? Oh, of course. Okay. Of course. I might be there next week. I'll buy you 2 hot dogs. I don't really even eat hot dogs, but I heard the ones in the street in New York are good. Okay, well, I'm glad you found a quiet spot to call from. So the book is The Magnificent 10, Crucial Dating Tips for Men, and the website, I'll let you say it is... It is MrLocario.com. That's MrLocario.com. Or you can go to ILookSexyNaked.com. So you can get the book on both of those websites. Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for being on. And you've got a bunch of books, so I'm sure we'll be having you on yet again. Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Okay, take care. Bye. All right, take care. Bye. All right, peace. Peace out. All right. And it's time for me to go also. Remember that my website is theartoflove.net, where I have a lot of things going on there. You'll just have to go there and find out for yourself. There's too much to discuss. Definitely sign up for my free weekly newsletter, and there's photos and coaching info and testimonials and links to my book, which is Lucia's Lessons of Love, or you can go to the website directly, which is lessonsoflove.net. And until next time, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts,
and enlightens.
You're listening to The Art of Love with your host, Lucia, right here on LA Talk Radio.